Hello, welcome back. Another week. This week, uh, this week we did not. There wasn't much news. We were back on a full week schedule, um, but we did go a bit lower. However, I did pretty well because it would have been quite a bit more lower if I hadn't done the trades that I had done. So let's get on with it. So here the performance. Really on I think, yeah. So this week we lost around a bit below 2%. Last week was a bit above 2%, and this week really we had a big move on, um, yeah, Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday, and Wednesday had to move up, so that kind of lost a bit, and on Thursday, um, because I was still holding my shorts, and then on Thursday it opened agreed on the open, and I decided to close my short. The thing is, the hard part about it is that you can have the right ideas, but then you have the wrong timing, and that can happen a lot. And that's really what matters most is the timing. And so I decided to close it because I'm like, maybe it just keeps on going up, and I don't know how much higher it's gonna go up. And it kept on going up, so that was good. And if I would have just held on the short, it would have been negative, I think 26.5. So and then on Friday it dropped back down, dropped quite a bit, and I didn't capture the full down wave, but I captured part of it, and I didn't capture the whole up wave, which in the end led to me being 3% greater than if I would have just held. So I'm happy about that. So that's why, this week could have been worse, but it's still not bad. Um, I'm still confident in the short, so every time if it starts to go up, close it, and then repeat if it starts to go down. And at some point, it's gonna have to start falling. So I'm quite confident. If we are at, if it hits, it was pretty close. I mean, that would be if it hits. I think like its previous high, um, around there. Like I think okay, the lowest it was, which was around our peak, because I was able to buy back more shares on the short, at a lower price because it had gone up more. The original stock had gone up more, so then that fell, the short fell, and then when it started to fall back down, the original stock, then it started to go up, and I was able to buy it for a cheaper discounted price. So I'm happy about that. So that means that my target prices have been higher on the original stock, so it doesn't have to fall as much, which is good. So I'm happy about that. This week -1, Nasdaq exactly one. Never seen that. Nasdaq, or maybe have, I don't know, but it's kind of rare. So Nasdaq's at 9%. We have a Fed meeting on Wednesday and Oracle earnings on Wednesday. So Wednesday's the biggest day of this week, um, and that's really what we've been waiting for. At some point the rate cut wasn't so sure. Now it's like pretty sure. Um, the problem is Nasdaq regained like gained back 5% in 2 weeks. So that's basically pricing in a rate cut and everything else going perfect. And I don't think that's true. So we'll have to see how Wednesday goes. And I might not even be holding a short by Wednesday. We don't know because I don't know what Monday, Tuesday are gonna go by. And if it starts going up again, then I'm gonna have to close it and just have to wait. So that's what I'm gonna have to be doing. SPY is kind of steadily going back up, almost all-time highs, I think. 0.15 this week, so not as much as Nasdaq. SPY has been more stable. It's still at 8% overall, though. And then Dow, a bit slower, 0.4. I mean, on the week better, but overall it's at 5.6. So here you have everything. And then transaction cost has been the same. So you can see Monday was a very good day. I was happy about them, like great. Tuesday we just kind of nothing happened, and then Wednesday they started rally back up. I'm like, okay, if it continues going higher than here, I gotta close it. So it started going a bit higher. I'm like, all right, it's not gonna just gonna keep on going. So I closed it. I did well in closing it because you know it was lost quite a bit more this week. And then I reopened it on Friday, and then I gained a little bit or a good amount there. Still holding it, so we'll have to see how the week goes. But I'm confident because on Friday it tried to re-rally and it couldn't hold it. And a lot of the times in bull markets, when it re-rallies, it holds it pretty well. So on Thursday, it rallied by it rallied quite a bit, and then by Friday it lost half of the whole rally, even a bit more. So I'm pretty confident because typically in a bull market it just would have been stable, and if it would have been stable, then I'd be a lot more worried because I'd have to reconsider, the positions and stuff. But seeing that it was able to fall back so quickly, it increased my confidence. It's still not for sure, but that's why we're gonna have to wait. And if it starts going up a bit, or just if I start seeing a lot of buying back in, even though it's like no news or whatever, then I'm gonna have to cover it quickly. So over here, Green Day's increased a little, 44 almost 50%. So I had to close the trade because of the Wednesday Thursday rally and that decrease. So that made the trade be quite a bit negative, sadly. However, start a new one, that's green, but I mean, it really depends when I close it. Gains 2.58, losses negative 2.57, so they're basically equal. Standard deviation's a bit lower, and then the Nasdaq, their losses are quite a bit greater than their gains. Standard deviation 0.74, and then the ratios over here, they're better from last week, I think, slightly better. The standard deviation is the same, let's say, and not bad, so that was okay. Transactions the same, 0.36, day trade's the same, and then the beta has decreased, so I'm pretty sure 2 weeks ago it was like 1.4, then it was like 1.25, now it's at 1.18. So this is the goal, is to try to get this to 0, and yeah, so I'm pretty happy about it decreasing, which makes sense from shorts if you hold the shorts and a decrease. And then over here you have your overall portfolio today. It's right negative 23.5. We're not the lowest we've been, which is good because we could be a lot lower than the lowest we would have had. And if it continues to drop, that'd be very good because I've been able to buy more shares at a lower price, so that's great. If it starts to go back up, then just cover and repeat the process and just wait. So yeah, we had the Fed, which is big news, and really the decision is probably going to move the market a bit, but what he says afterwards is going to be a lot more important. So we're going to have to see how that goes. And then Oracle, which is a big play, that's going to be on Wednesday. So that's going to be so tomorrow's really Wednesday, the big day. There could also be some volatility other days, but we'll have to see that. And some specific prices where if it doesn't reach, then I'm probably gonna have to leave the short. If it's able to break down over some levels, then I'll probably just keep on holding it. Fundamentally, it's a short. The problem is the timing, so we just gotta wait. And I think that's about it. Even the short, like, it doesn't have to fall to drastic levels of the company. It really just has to fall. It's easy. It's already fallen like 50%. So, and it did a huge rally from where it's currently at, which was like, it used to be at around like $10, and then it rallied to like 54. So it really and it used to be a $1 stock, and really nothing's really changed from the $1 period. Fundamentally, you could probably put it around the $6 range. So I really just needed to get to, if it gets to $10, we're going to be 23% up. If it gets to 17, we'll be around -8, which is pretty good. And right now, my near-term price target is 17. If it's 17, I'll be really happy, and I would just consider that as a successful trade. I'd have to really see if there's more downside potential, but because it would have to go to $10 for me to be like 23%, which would be a good year. And I don't know, I'd have to think about it more. So thanks for watching, and next week it's going to be pretty big. So bye.